have two objectives today. Number one is to have some fun. Is that okay with everybody? Is that all right? I know we went through a whole lot of facts and figures and numbers and some exciting things, and I want to talk about that as well, but really one of the things I want to do is break down and have a little bit of fun. Now, the second objective I have today is to help you think. Because after 85 years of being in business, if we don't learn to think a little bit differently and learn to be innovative in who we are and what we do on a daily basis and remind ourselves of why we do what we do, we're going to fall back. So I hope that you have the opportunity to think a little bit differently after we spend this time together. Now, I'll be honest, we have to get through some of these old analogies that drive me crazy. The other one that drives me nuts, finish this sentence. You've got to think outside, and it doesn't work anymore. It doesn't. That's a bold statement, isn't it? You see, in our world, we have millions and millions of people who are out there who are thinking outside of the box and don't do anything about it. It's the people, the teams, the organizations, the companies who are going to succeed that not only think outside the box, but they determine, you know what, we're going to take that risk. We're going to step outside the box and make something happen because they made a decision to make it happen. And those are the people and the teams that are going to move forward and succeed in our global economy. If you think outside of it, you're on the right track, but you got to take that big step and get outside and then learn to stay outside the box and be innovative and continue to serve your customers in new and unique ways that meet their needs. So we get to talk a little bit about the way that you think. And I love talking about the way people think, and I've been working on some mind-reading techniques, and I thought I'd share these with you to really dig into how people think. The woman second in over there. I mean, it could be anyone. A woman I've never met before. Don't say your name. I don't want to say, well, that'll work. Don't say your name. Have we met before?
No.
Okay, perfect. Just like we practiced. I'm going to see if I can come up with what she's going to say here. All right. Your name, where are you from?
California.
California. Okay. California female. Never met her. For the first time, nice and loud, in the microphone. I'm committed. What is your name?
Susan.
Susan. That is correct. Good job. Well done, Susan. Adam, let's make this a little bit harder, shall we? I like to talk about coffee. Any coffee drinkers? Who are my coffee drinkers? Yeah. Now, I got to be honest, I'm not a really big coffee drinker. I had none this morning, despite my caffeine level, as you would think, okay? I was in Columbus, Ohio, which is where I'm from, and someone had told me, you know what? You have got to go to this store. They've got the best coffee in town. And I thought I would share this because this was an exemplary retail experience that I had. And they said, it's a brand new grocery store. It's kind of specialty, but they've got the best coffee in town. And I wasn't a big coffee drinker, but they had free Wi-Fi, and I wanted to go check it out. So I go into the coffee store, and I'm looking around, and I find the coffee section. You know, it's not a couple of those little pump things. It's this beautiful display. It's got like 18 barrels of beans. And I walk up to the counter, and I'm kind of looking around, and this woman looks, she says, how can I help you out? I had my briefcase, and I stood there. I said, well, I hear you've got the best coffee in town. And she came right back at me and said, you heard right. What can I get you? And I'm just kind of looking around, and she could tell I was totally out of my element. So she comes around the counter, she has a spoon, and she starts taking the little spoonfuls of coffee beans, and she's letting me smell each different type of coffee. She's like, these are the flavored ones, these are the low caffeine, these are the high caffeine. I'm like, oh, I don't need any more caffeine. And I finally pick one called Sal Louise. And she says, oh, it's one of my favorites. She takes the beans, she runs back around the counter, and then she asked me, well, how would you like it? It's like, well, you know, a cup or a mug would be great. And she's kind of, the odd look on her face. She's like, no. Have you ever had a French press coffee? That's the best way to have coffee. But it'll take 4 minutes. Do you have 4 minutes? I said, well, it's my first time in the store. I'll look around. It's your first time in our store? Let me tell you about our store. You see, everything you'll see here is organic or natural. If you want to sample anything at all, tell any one of our staff members or employees. We'll open up a box, take anything out of the case, and you can sample it. I said, okay, all right. So she made my cup of coffee, and she gets the hot water and the coffee grounds, mixes it all together. Then she gets this cocktail shaker-like machine, and she starts the timer and plunges it. And it was right then I realized I had just bought the most expensive cup of coffee of my life. And I'm getting nervous, and I'm looking up at the board, and I see French press coffee. It was $1.95. Huh, okay. So she comes back to me. She says, do you know why it's the best way to have coffee? I'm like, I have no idea. She says, whenever you use a paper drip filter, the drip filter collects all the coffee grounds, but it also collects all of the oil from the coffee beans. And the oil is the soul of the coffee. And she took a Dixie cup and one of the older French presses, and she pours it in the Dixie cup, and we looked at it. And after like 5, 6, 7 seconds, this little film forms on top. She's like, see that? That's the oil. That's the soul of the coffee. She then explains to me during those 4 minutes at roasting the coffee beans at different temperatures, what can happen and the different flavors that can be experienced from the same type of beans just by the way that you serve the coffee. And I learned more about coffee in those 4 minutes than I ever thought I would want to know before. And she finally gives it to me, and I took a sip, and you know what? It was good. I couldn't tell the difference. But she said, you want to pay here or do you want to go up front? I said, well, I'll have a look around. I'll pay up front. So I took my coffee and my briefcase, and I kind of walked. And then I come to this beautiful Italian section, all this ready-made foods, and I'm just looking in the glass case. And there's a person, they come up and they said, how can I help you out? So I'm just looking, first time here. It's your first time here? Well, let me tell you about our store. You see, everything here I've made today. It's all fresh, it's organic, it's natural. I just made those crab cakes. Would you taste one for me? I said, okay, I'll have a crab cake. She cuts up the crab cake, she gives it to me. And that was good. But it didn't stop there. Then it gets odd. Then she's like, hey, Joe. And this guy sticks his head out from those double flat doors. And this guy, it's his first time here. You have to get him some of that chocolate marble cheese. Joe disappears behind these doors. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking he's going to come out with those plastic trays in the dome and a little cube of cheese. Out comes this guy with this honking huge wheel of this marbly dark looking cheese, sets it down and carves off a piece of chocolate cheese and gives it to me. And that was good. I'm getting the hang of this place. Got my coffee, my crab cake, and my chocolate cheese. So I continue to surround the store, and I come to the main deli section at this point, and I'm looking in the glass when someone comes up. What do you think they said? How can I help you out? Oh, just looking, it's my first time here. And I had a portobello mushroom quesadilla. But now I've got a goal. Because right there at the front of their grocery store, through the pizza kitchen, over by the sushi bar, right up front, over the salad bar, right up front, was this big chocolate display. Got my briefcase, a cup of coffee, walked up. Someone came up to me, what do you think they said? How can I help you out? What do you think I said? It's my first time here! Let me tell you about our store. You see everything here we've made here today? In fact, would you like to take a strawberry and a marshmallow and dip it in the chocolate fountain? And guess what that was? That was good. I finally got my coffee. I'm sitting down with a full stomach. I open up the laptop, and it was one of those moments where it just hits you, bang. Never in my life have I gone into a retail establishment and every single person that I met in that store, hourly associates, had genuine passion and pride in what they were representing. And how often do you see that in our country? Carlene wasn't trying to sell me the most expensive cup of coffee. She was genuinely interested in me having the best experience that I could. Let me tell you about our store. When I walk into yours, how will I feel there? How do your teams feel? Where's their passion? Where's their pride? What level are they at? And are you leading by example of what it should be because of the pride you have in the ACE organization? You look up passion in the dictionary and it says passion. It's boundless enthusiasm. And I agree with that, but I don't think you have to be entirely enthusiastic to be passionate. Can't you tell when you're working with someone, you can look them in the eye and you can see it's in their heart, it's in their eye. They're passionate about who they are and what they're doing. You can tell just by being around them. It's that feeling, isn't it? I define passion as those people out there who are doing their very best work and they're having the most fun doing it. How do you feel every day when you go in? Are you setting that example?